Okay, I think we're getting some folks back up here. So we have a new tornado warning. Jared Smith here with the Carolina Weather Group. I'm down here in Charleston, but we're looking at a tornado warning now in the Charlotte metro area. So we have a tornado warning right around Stanley. There's a little bit of a hook showing up on the end of the line here, and we're going to go ahead and zoom in on this bad boy. And right there, looking from the terminal Doppler, there's some evidence of rotation here around Stanley. We don't have correlation coefficient with this radar, and again, we're at a disadvantage here because we don't have the Greenville radar to lean on. We only have the Columbia radar to fall back on. So we're going to be bouncing back and forth between the Columbia radar, which does not have a good look at this at all, as I'm looking at another screen here. So we're going to stick with this. We're going to stick with the terminal Doppler here. So again, this is in Stanley, town of Stanley here. Tornado warning, Gaston, Lincoln and Mecklenburg until 6:45. This circulation is 6 miles north of Gastonia near Stanley, moving east at 55 miles an hour. So again, you don't have a lot of time. If you're in Lowesville, Huntersville, State Highway 16 here, State Highway 273, you're going to be next in line for this. If there's a circulation right now, it's around State Highway 275. Back up, and this is kind of this little appendage is what prompted the warning as it passes basically right over Stanley. So again, if you're in this area right now, if you're in Stanley, certainly taking cover is the thing to do. So that certainly is what you need to do. Is this is going to get close to Huntersville and Lowesville here in the next 20 minutes or so. And again, we'll put this kind of back and rock that guy back and forth, and you can see where the circulation is there. Uptown Charlotte, you're going to stay out of this. Matthews, Hickory Grove, Mint Hill, this is passing to your north. However, you do have a line of thunderstorms that is going to move by in the next hour or two. That is certainly capable of some damaging wind gusts. I wouldn't be shocked to see a severe thunderstorm warning extended eastward. But right now, what we're going to look at is the low-level circulation here. This again, we're looking with the terminal Doppler. We look about 200 something feet up. I can tilt up a little bit, and you can see kind of where that tight rotation is, about 1,000 feet up near Stanley. And again, this is moving east at 55. So this is definitely getting got some good mustard on it as far as forward speed goes. So again, that doesn't give you a lot of time to get to that safe place. So if your phone just went off, if you if you know somebody who's in this area, who's in this red polygon here in this tornado warning, give them a ring, let them know. Hopefully, again, with these leading edge QLCS tornadoes, they often spin up and down very quickly. But it certainly seems like if there's going to be anything there, and again, we can't, with this radar, we can't check for debris signatures. Yeah, we can't check for debris. We're just not in a place to do that. And unfortunately, with the Greenville radar down, we're just going to have to go off of ground truth and everything here. So again, this is certainly something where we're going to need reports as time goes on to figure out, what is exactly happening down here. So again, if there's a circulation, if there's going to be a tornado, nothing reported yet, but if something should happen, it's going to be right in here, just to the east of downtown Stanley. Yeah, that's really tightening up. It might be noise, hard to say. It might be some side lobe contamination. But we certainly see a decent rotational signature here when it tilts up on the radar just a little bit, looking at about 900 feet up. So certainly something there to keep an eye on here. Weather Service updated the warning here. So the tornado, possible tornado is going to be now 9 miles to the northeast of Gastonia, moving east at 55. So again, this continues a very, very fast movement. Gastonia, you're not in the warning. And in fact, if you were in Dallas area here, you are now out of the tornado warning, but there is now a severe thunderstorm warning for the approaching line, for the line that continues to move through, while we have a small circulation out ahead of it. This is Here's a little appendage here. Anytime we look at anytime we look at anytime we look at a radar display like this and we see this, tell me this little guy right here, this little appendage, when that guy shows up, that's when we start to get a little nervous about um, the potential for something to quickly spin up and down. And again, there certainly seems to be evidence that there is a tight rotation here um, on the storm relative velocity. And again, typically we would be talking about um, we would oh yeah, that's looking really tight. Uh, and given where this is, would not shock me if there was this is about 200 feet up, and we can see some evidence of a very tight circulation now, um, approaching State Highway 273, and kind of up and down. But again, there's some evidence here that with as low as this radar looks, again, this is the radar that they use to find low level wind shear for aircraft landing at Charlotte Douglas. And so this is what it does best. Looking for wind shear is what it is designed to do, and it does a very good job of this, albeit at a very short range. Um, but if there is going to be something there, and there is going to be, it's getting very close now to Highway 273 uh, in the Charlotte metro. In the let's see, this I think that's still Gaston County at this point. So just kind of the northeast part of Gaston County. And then this will, on this course, it should be in Huntersville in the next 15 minutes or so. So if you're in Huntersville, something to keep an eye on. Anywhere between, let's see here, see if I can get another waypoint for you guys. Really, we're 21 and 77 interchange here, US Highway 21. Yeah, okay, we have another tornado warning that's just come up. This one is now for Greenwood. So let's switch back. I'm going to bounce back and forth on these, and we have a new tornado warning. Another looks like a QLCS spin up of some kind. Maybe two of them near Greenwood. So again, waiting for that warning to populate on the screen here. But once it does, and this is in South Carolina. So we've got one tornado warning in North Carolina in the Charlotte metro area, where again there remains some evidence that something is trying to spin. We see this notch there, but we now have a tornado warning for Greenwood, South Carolina. So again, if you're in the Greenwood area, we need folks to be taking shelter right now. So here is your tornado warning in Greenwood, and we're going to set the storm relative motion here. And maybe not the best looking signature in the world, but there's so we'll cut through the noise and we'll use our rotation tool, because we can use it on this radar. We can use this rotation tool, and you can see a tight circulation just north of Highway 72, kind of running parallel to Highway 72. This is approaching US 25 in the northwest part of Greenwood, and is going to get close to the Highway 72 business bypass here before too long, or the US 25 bypass, that is. And again, we're kind of zooming in a little bit, and you can see I have a feeling that this is actually going to get very close. I would be, it's crossing into the Greenwood County line now. This is approaching Greenwood at 96, around 6:30. Lake Greenwood about 6:40. This could, if you're near the Lander University campus, I would recommend getting to a safe place now. And stay there for the next 15 minutes. It looks like this is going to get very close to the airport too. So again, right now, when we looking at the airport observation, as of about 15 minutes ago, the wind was out of the south at 12, gusting to 20. So it'll be interesting to see if we get another observation out of this that may tell us a little bit more about this. Otherwise, you're going to see some areas of very strong straight line winds. Looks like there might be a couple places where this is trying to rotate too. One near Verdery here. This is right over State Highway 10, South Carolina Highway 10. But then the storm that prompted the warning is going to about ready to get into the northern part of Greenwood here. So again, Greenwood, South Carolina, tornado warning for you right now. Get in shelter. And then this is going to get near Cross Hill. at some around 6:40 or so. Waterloo, Mountville, keep an eye on this as well, uh, as this may get into your neck of the woods. So we're going to bounce back into the I'm going to bounce back to the Charlotte storm, and also bring in Scotty Powell, who is along for the ride with us this evening. Scotty, I know you do weather all day, and now this is what you get to do. Um, so, so just recapping here, we have 2 tornado warnings uh, ongoing right now. One in North Carolina, one in South Carolina. Here is the North Carolina one. Scotty, bring anything you want to jump in on right now.
Yeah, Jared, excuse me. I'm trying to catch my voice there. Was watching this cell, and it looks like it's starting to kind of bow out. We're not seeing that hook that we were seeing just a couple of frames ago. So that is some good news there. But unfortunately, at this time, this is at rush hour, and this is a very, very, very congested area. You've got Highway 16, Interstate 77, and 85 all in that area. And I know traffic is a nightmare right now.
Yeah, and again, keep in mind too that the tornado threat itself is not looking as good as it was a few scans ago, but keep in mind that we have severe thunderstorm warnings out really across the entire the 77. A good bit of 77 right up towards Charlotte Uptown, and that is going to get extended eastward before too long as this line continues to push east.
And this is not something you're going to see. This is going to be completely rain wrapped. We're also, I think I'm having some issues here with the connection. Maybe can you hear me?
I've
Jared?
got you a little bit, yeah, but I do see a little bit of some degradation there, but we've got your voice, and I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and so this is going to be rain wrapped. This is going to, if there is something there, rain wrapped. It's nighttime now, so you're not going to be able to visibly see this. But this is just a nasty situation. The good thing is this is moving close to the terminal Doppler, and as we discussed, GSP radar is down, but thankfully where this warning's at, we're pretty close to the radar. That we're able to see if there is anything on the ground. And so Jared's got it zoomed in right there.
I'm tilting up a little bit. Don't really see much in the way of anything that tells me more than straight line winds at this point. As you mentioned before, it looks like that hook has really filled in the last couple scans. And that's a good sign. Again, with these QLCS tornadoes, they can spin up, they can spin down just as fast. And I would be, go ahead.
If you live just some locations, if you're watching Huntersville, you definitely need to be in your safe place right now. Birkdale Village, this is going to be traveling just along Highway 27 and 73, some of those local roads there. So again, there's a pretty congested area here. A lot of folks live in this area, especially at this time of day, trying to leave uptown Charlotte to go back home. Very congested area, and seeing here on radar some lightning with this system as well. So that continues. Just looking at looks like the Weather Service has dropped a few counties, and
Gaston and Lincoln, all clear in Gaston and Lincoln counties. It's purely a Mecklenburg issue now. They are maintaining the tornado warning until 6:45. They have the severe thunderstorm. They're basically saying it's near Huntersville, moving east at 55 miles an hour. So Huntersville, time to be in that safe place if you're not already there. Again, no reports of anything down yet. But again, with these QLCS tornadoes, they can spin up and spin down in a hurry. So if your phone goes off, we just want you in that safe place.
Yeah, definitely so. And remember that safe place, lowest level of your home. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You also want to make sure you have some sort of helmet, something to protect your head, your eyes, your arms, your legs, your feet, if there was any debris. I mean, Jared, today we've seen, not that I'm comparing what we're seeing right now to what happened earlier today, but we've seen some pretty devastating tornadoes back over Alabama and Georgia. So this system has that potential of creating some damage in tornadoes. This tornado right now tornado warned storm doesn't look to be doing that, but it has been a fairly. It'll be a historic day, I'm afraid, especially there in Selma, Alabama,
Oh,
where it seems
goodness.
like they just got leveled today.
Yeah, they took a real wallop in Selma, unfortunately, and that's a very vulnerable spot too, and certainly something that we're going to have to, prayers with them, because that's going to be. It was not looking good. Let's switch back to our Greenwood storm real quick. Again, we still see some signs of rotation, really just right parallel to Highway 221, heading towards Cornaca here, and then eventually we'll cross over Lake Greenwood towards Cross Hill. So again, tornado warning here will go until 7 p.m. And again, this takes in Lawrence County, Abbeville, Union County, South Center, Union. So again, Cross Hill, Mountville, Waterloo, Joanna again. Joanna was under a tornado warning earlier, and interesting. This is interestingly drawn. It's really interestingly drawn with Whitmire here, kind of at the edge of this little weird cutout. I think they did not want to warn Newberry County, I think was the idea, but
Is that a Columbia? Maybe.
Yeah, it's not the boundary. It's not
Okay.
a CWA boundary. So that's what was interesting about that. But again, I think the other thing to note too is that while we have this one tornado warning here, we have severe thunderstorm warnings up and down at this point. That will, for damaging straight line winds. So again, there's going to be rough and tumble regardless of whether it's spinning or not. Let me update the storm motion vector here, see if I can get a clearer picture on the storm relative. It's really not, it's just little notches here and there in the storm, maybe a little appendage right here again. It'll rain wrap really quick. So again, 96, Greenwood, stay in your safe place for a few more minutes. I think if there's one bit of good news here is that we are getting into the evening hours. It's January, climatologically speaking, a little less favorable for tornadoes reaching the surface. But again, it's a pretty busy day here. So let's bounce back to Charlotte area here. Let me there we go. And yep, there's your warning continues. I'm not seeing much here.
Yeah, not seeing much, and you probably see that gap in Jared's radar there. There's a tower, a communication tower that's cut out this little splotch of the radar beam. So unfortunately, the rotation's kind of tracking over that little splotch right now. But but it's nothing right now that just screams like there's a tornado on the ground. With what we're seeing here, more in line with a straight line damage and wind event as this thing really starts to bow out.
Yeah. One cool thing about the terminal Doppler is that we get updates every minute. And so you can get really smooth loops like this, and you can see that whoosh of damaging wind moving into Huntersville.
Kind of see they've extended that severe thunderstorm warning to kind of encompass this line out towards Harrisburg and Concord over to Locust.
Yeah, and they've got Charlotte Metro, Charlotte Uptown is now in this too. So
yes, and remember, y'all, we say it all the time here during severe weather coverage. Wind is wind, no matter if it's rotating or blowing in a straight line. If it's 60, 70 mile per hour wind, it definitely can bring down some trees, and one of those trees could affect your property. So this is a dangerous situation, no matter if it's a tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning. That wind can definitely create some damage. So it's just a great idea if you're under a warning right now, to definitely put yourself in the middle of your house, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, lowest level if at all possible, and just kind of wait. Thankfully, these storms are moving at a pretty decent clip. I think it's like 50, 55 miles per hour. So they're moving pretty quickly. So we'll see these storms move in and out fairly quickly. But during that 10 to 15, 20-minute duration, that's where you definitely need to be in shelter as this line continues to move through. And again, worst timing for Charlotte. Thankfully, we're kind of on the back edge of the rush hour, but still a lot of people out on 77 and 85 driving in this, and just not the ideal situation. Jared, you've got the Greenwood County warning pulled up. So
yeah, and I'm just kind of sampling some of the winds here. The winds about 4,000 feet are blowing 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. So that is that's not at the ground. That's aloft, but that certainly getting some of those gusts down to the ground. And again, we have the tornado warning continuing here. Frank Strait joining us now. Hey, Frank.
Hey, So
Nice
we're
quiet
kind of
day
busy
in the
this evening, huh?
nice quiet day in the weather department here. There's a little appendage here, a little appendage near that Highway 25 shield right here. Might be another thing that's trying to get spun up based off of that. I think that's certainly
Yeah, it
something that
looked
we're
to
going
me
to want
like
to
there
watch.
were 2, maybe even 3 separate spins in
Hmm.
that warned area there that we have to keep an eye on. There's one going south of Greenwood now, another one up by Coronica, and another maybe around Cross Hill in Greenwood and Lawrence counties there. So it's all heading east. And as you mentioned there, in addition to the quick spin ups that we're seeing, a good bit of straight line damaging wind potential with the storm all along the line, both North and South Carolina.
And Jared, I know you're running radar, so you may not have seen this, but in the Columbia chat, NWS chat, talking about something we were just talking about, the instability starting to wane as the sun goes down. And so with that, it seems like that report of here in Greenwood County where there was a few funnel cloud reports, but as we get into the evening, we're starting to see the instability kind of weaken a little bit. So more a potential of damaging wind threat than maybe a tornado threat. That at least that's what Columbia is looking at right now over the next hour or two as this line continues to progress through the Midlands and upstate.
Yeah, I've got a view here actually. Let me just go to the regional here. This is very nerdy, but we've got some of the upper air here. We got we got the low level jet is really it's really punching in through here right now on the meso analysis. But the instability here. This is I have the the model estimated surface base cape. Really not much to write home about. Most unstable cape. A lot of this stuff is starting to get a little more elevated. So yeah, I'm definitely there as far as, we're starting to see, hopefully we're getting closer to the backside of this event. But again, in the meantime, you got some very strong winds now moving into 96. This is really starting to wrap up quite nicely, actually, near Cross Hill, right at the Greenwood County line, right over the lake here. So here we go. A gust to 74 miles per hour at the Greenwood County Airport.
That tells you right there. This has definitely got that damaging wind threat with it.
West-southwest 46, gust to 74. I knew we would get a good observation from this thing. Holy cow! That's the kind of stuff we got coming through here, guys. I mean, this is
mighty impressive.
Wow.
Yeah, the Weather Service just now sending that LSR out, so you'll probably see that populate here.
I bet. Yeah, that is we don't. It's not the same, but I mean, when you think about 74 miles an hour, what is that the threshold for? Hurricane status. So it's not a direct comparison, but that's but that's still. I mean, good night. It tells you the power of this thing. I'd love to see if we get an observation from Lawrence at some point. I'm impressed we got the one from Greenwood. Honestly, I'm glad we did.
Yeah. Yeah, the ops page actually has it 75. It'll be interesting to see if that's whether it's 74
74.8 is what.
Okay, so 75.
Yeah, so rounding up.
Yeah, so this thing was yep. So yeah, this was just chopping off a significant digit. I have to logic grievance. But let's go back to Charlotte for a minute. Let's pop back up here and again, Scotty, not a whole lot to seemingly write home about here. Let me tilt up on the radar a little bit, see if there's anything else I can find. But
you're saying we got a spotter report of tornado sirens going off in Cornelius, but then the warning just has expired.
Yep.
So for Mecklenburg.
Warning is gone. Yep. So one down, one to go. But you can still see these yellow I'm going to take the radar data off for a second so you guys can see that there's still a huge line of severe thunderstorm warnings. And it wouldn't shock me to see a watch get extended up into Greensboro. The Storm Prediction Center has kind of indicated that that's a possibility. But right now, York, Chester, Lancaster, pretty soon, down to Union, down to Lawrence, down to Greenwood. I mean, we basically have severe thunderstorm warnings stretching all the way from near Augusta, Georgia, all the way up into the Piedmont of North Carolina. So certainly a busy night there. So yeah, let's get back to our let's get back to our Columbia radar and our Greenwood storm here, where we have a 75-mile-an-hour wind gust that's come through, and and again we've got I mean, we still have some, certainly some signs of some appendages along the line. Kind of splitting the difference here between Epworth and 96 right now. Get a little closer on that. Right in here again, this is the storm motion is very fast, and so it's even tough to get a good storm motion vector off of the warning. I'm gonna actually, Scotty, I'm gonna just do that here, and I'm gonna do storm motion from the marker, and that might help me see the rotation. Not really helping much, but yeah, there's a little notch. Just this little notch just south of 96, crossing right now Highway 248, South Carolina Highway 248, and then it's going to cross Highway 246 here in a matter of minutes. Very heavy rain, gusty winds again, 75 miles an hour recorded at the Greenwood Airport. So this is not playing.
No, and with this system, Jared, what we saw earlier in Alabama, we saw kind of discrete cells. With this is more a QLCS, and I know that's kind of what's a QLCS, but think of like a squiggly line, like a big S. And anytime you see like indentions or little kinks in the line, that's where you could see the possibility of a quick spin up. That's what we saw last week in near Columbia, where I think 4 or 5 tornadoes were confirmed, and that was along a QLCS line. So it doesn't take much, and unfortunately, the terminal Doppler was giving us every 1 minute readings. The National Weather Service Doppler is a couple of minute readings. So it could happen within that couple of minutes, and radar picks it up one scan, and then the next scan it's totally gone. So that's kind of what we battle. And then you're putting darkness into time frames, so people, you can't see it. It's rain wrapped, so it's very hard. So if you find yourself under a warning, it's best just to seek shelter until that warning is either canceled or expired, or that storm has moved out of your area, because it can happen pretty quickly.
Yeah, and again, it's going to happen on the leading edge. We look for these little notches in the reflectivity, and you can see a very subtle appendage showing up here, and that is where right over, as of this scan about 3 minutes ago, it was over 248. I'm pretty sure now that this is crossing, if not already crossed, Highway 246, and I haven't seen any indication yet, but I'll tell you, if these things continue to notch out, I would be I wouldn't be shocked to see this warning head into Newberry, see at least some sort of warning here very shortly. Honestly, in Newberry County, I'm not sure why all of these warnings are kind of around Newberry, but I suspect that we will see at least a severe thunderstorm warning shortly in Newberry County.
Yeah, Newberry, if you live there near Whitmire, Carlisle, that's kind of like the Union County, Lawrence County. I think what is Winsboro? Fairfield County, I think.
Winsboro.
Yeah, that's in Fairfield.
Yeah, so if you kind of live in that area, you just want to keep an eye on this line as it's moving closer to you. Right now, it's just Greenwood County under the warning, but as this line continues to move off to the east, you're next in line to see that. And it looks like, Jared, you've got some rotation picking up there.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good looking rotation here now, about 1.17 NROT. And again, anything over 1 is significant. And so when we get into the ones, we start getting into the reds here. And this is, as of this scan, at about 39 after the hour. So about 2 minutes ago, it was over Highway 39 between Cross Hill and Chapels. And then this is headed towards South Carolina 56. Kynard's, Newberry, again, this is kind of moving a little bit east of the, I really believe that there could be, I think, this is the CWA boundary.
Right, that's what I was thinking. That's the boundary between GSP and Columbia.
Yeah. I forgot GSP is this neck of the woods. Yeah, it's just so many lines that we're dealing with. So,
right.
There's just a lot going on with that. But Newberry County for sure. I would not be shocked to see a tornado warning come out with this rotation right around Cross Hill. Again, very rain wrapped. You're not going to see this if it's there. the data is noisy. We're looking a little higher into this. We're looking about 3,700 feet in the storm, but but there's a lot of noise in this correlation coefficient data, very possibly due to lightning. That can sometimes make that a little bit noisier than you would like. But yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how the warnings are further extended here, because it looks like I got 1 and 2 areas that are kind of about to leave this polygon here. One east of 96 now, crossing over State Highway 702, kind of at the confluence of 702 and 34. And then the second one north of Highway 39, just past to the east of Cross Hill. Looks like it's going to split the difference between. All right, so that's a thunderstorm warning for Aiken, and okay, so that's they've extended a severe thunderstorm warning to the south of this, but yeah, we've not seen. They may just be working their way north with Warren Jen at this point, guys.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I kind of expect a mega warning any second here to cover a bunch of counties in the Northwest Midlands.
Yeah.
We'll probably get a decent wind report out of Newberry too, just kind of seeing where that rotation in the line.
Yeah, I suspect we will.
Yeah, right now the last report out of Newberry was at 35 after the hour. Winds south at 10, gusts of 17. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on a couple different sources of data, and I'm very interested to see kind of how that turns out. So yeah, it's guys, this is certainly a busy night here. I'm still stunned. I'm still stunned at the 74. So
if you kind of do a 10,000 foot view, Jared, I'm not sure if you're able to do that, but we have severe thunderstorm warnings extending basically from West Virginia, Winston-Salem, all the way back through the Charlotte area, and all along this line, all the way down to Augusta, Georgia, into what is this? Portions of central Georgia, Unadilla. You've got Pineview, Georgia. I mean, literally, this whole line is warned either severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning.
Yeah, sometimes both.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes both here. So I mean, that's certainly something that we're watching. Yeah, you can see how long this line is too. I mean, Pensacola basically just now. I mean, there's still severe thunderstorm warnings in Alabama at this point. The far southeastern tip of Alabama. We have a couple tornado warnings in Georgia. We have a tornado warning.
I think that's going to be a severe thunderstorm warning. They put 70-mile-per-hour tag.
Yeah, they put the considerable tag on it. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, that's you can see on this. It looks a little different than the other severe thunderstorm warnings. And I think that's a good call. Again, the circulations are certainly not looking the way they were, but yeah, we'll go back to the high resolution here, and yeah, so there's your considerable tag. Yeah, that makes sense. Newberry, Saluda. So again, if you're in these areas, 70-mile-an-hour winds are possible. Straight line winds are possible, and again, we still can't rule out a tornado watch is in effect. We still can't totally rule out a pop-up circulation along the leading edge of this line. So that's definitely something that we're going to be wanting our folks. Really, Kynard's about ready to move into Whitmire now. Kynard's down to Kirksey, just past McCormick at this point. Newberry and Saluda are the two major towns now, kind of the largest towns that are going to be impacted by this in the next 20 to 30 minutes.
Looking at just scrolling through Twitter as this line's moved through, there's several places, Frank, near your old stomping grounds up there near Polkville in the southern foothills of hail covering the ground. I mean, it looks like it's snowed there.
Well, there was snow coating the roads in I want to say near Asheville, or not snow, hail coating the roads in Asheville.
Here we go.
And I think I saw a picture from there too. So yeah, let me take this full real quick, and I'll show you kind of wow. Yeah, that's
not large hail, but that's probably pea to penny size. But you can see, I mean, it's accumulated.
It's enough to slicken a road, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
the bottom line here, is that it's enough to slicken a road, and that's certainly that's certainly something that we're going to be watching closely. I'm going to go up let's see here. Just kind of taking a look at the terminal Doppler. Scotty, there's a I'm gonna all right. There's no warning on this, but I'm gonna call this out because this looks suspicious. Just south of the 277 loop, right here. See this guy? It's the radar is being very badly attenuated by heavy rain right now, but it can still see wind shear, because again, that's the point of this radar near Charlotte, and this is just south of the 277 loop right here. So that nothing on it yet. But again, when we're talking about quick spin ups, certainly candidate, and I'll kind of zoom in on this a little bit further here. So again, south of the 277 loop, approaching Providence Road and Highway 74, just south of Uptown Charlotte. So again, nothing. At this point, I'm not necessarily calling this, certainly not trying to David Payne my way through this and issue my own warnings or anything like that. If you know. But again, we want to be very attentive to these small little areas of spin up. And again, we are in such a bad situation with this radar. Again, terminal Doppler radar is if heavy rain is falling on it, it makes the storms on the reflectivity view look a lot weaker. Yeah, that's a TVS. That sure is. Yeah. So yeah, that sure is. That just popped up a little
getting some reports and chats via back towards Hodges, which is near Greenwood, of some trees down on homes, and we may have a new tornado warning here.
That's a tornado watch. So that's
Yep.
All right. So we have a watch. So the watch has been canceled for Abbeville, Anderson, Cherokee, Greenville, Oconee, Pickens, and Spartanburg. So if you're in those counties, your severe weather threat is over. We're continuing the tornado watch for Charlotte Metro, basically Charlotte Metro counties, Chester, Greenwood, Lawrence, Union, and New York until 10 o'clock. We still have this very powerful line of storms. I mean, this, I'm going to go back to.
I promise you, where this TVS is located, this is over Uptown Charlotte. If there was something going on, we would be hearing about it right now.
Yeah, we would absolutely be hearing about it, and we haven't heard anything yet. So again, those TVS icons can sometimes be a little bit spurious too. They're an aid, but they're not like they're not. At least not on this software. Now in the analyst software that I got up here, you see TVS on that. Look out, it's happening. This software is really good. It's a lot better than the Weather Service algorithms. But you can see that kind of that wind shear here with some damaging wind gusts certainly possible. Really, just all throughout China Grove, Salisbury. Yeah, just a lot there. And looks like the tornado warning, again, the leading edge of the line has moved far beyond Greenwood County at this point. So the tornado warning here is being allowed to expire. However, I want to call out a very tight area of rotation that is approaching Newberry. This does not have a tornado warning on it yet, but and we'll see what Columbia decides to do with it. But here is the circulation here. It's a good-looking circulation. Might be trying to do a little split ass action here. There's a little peak of 60-mile-an-hour winds right there. And even a data drop, which could be, this is going to head right towards the Newberry County Airport. And again, you're in this severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-an-hour straight line winds, but tornado watch continues here. And I would want to watch this very closely. Again, knowing what we know about the surface-based instability, this may just be a loft. We hope that's all it is. But again, there's certainly indications that there is at least some leading edge rotation with this as this line moves into Newberry. So right here is where we're going to be watching this closely. Again, nothing from Columbia yet as far as a tornado warning, but I think this is the area that I want to keep an eye on here for the next little bit, Scotty. Again, looking up and down the line, there's certainly a lot of shear. Wind shear along the line, and again, we could very easily see a brief spin up pretty much anywhere. at this point along this line where we have the tornado watch. But yeah, I would love to get. Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're doing they got a sales 2 on right now, so get an update every about minute and a half, 2 minutes or so. Yeah, that'd be rain wrapped, and right north of Silver Street, approaching Newberry here. So if you're in Newberry, my advice to you is get kind of close to shelter. May not be the worst idea. To get kind of close to shelter. Again, this could spin up and spin down very quickly. Regardless, we're going to have some very strong winds moving into Silver Street shortly. Silver Street, Newberry, Prosperity, really down Highway 34 here. Beautiful drive, but not so right now. It's dark, it's raining, and there's certainly the potential for some trees to come down here. So again, we're still seeing a little bit of that organized rotation. Looks like it has backed off a little bit over the last couple scans, but this could very easily cycle back up, and it's something that we're going to want to watch. Regardless, if you're in this area, 70-mile-an-hour winds are a decent bet. We have had, again, or if you're watching this earlier, we had 75-mile-an-hour wind gust at the Greenwood Airport with this line of storms. That's and that is quite significant. So we Scotty has there he is.
We had a little glitch in the internet there.
Yeah, a little glitch in the matrix. It happens. I'm shocked I haven't had one, truth be told, but I'm waxing poetic about this area of circulation near Newberry that has got my eye.
Yeah, that's kind of not worrisome, but something you definitely want to keep an eye on as that has that look to it.
Certainly does. And and again, I'm just checking lots of different sources of information at this point. In fact, I need to probably pull up my meso. Let me do that real quick. Scotty, anything? Any news from North Carolina that you want to?
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I've seen a few reports of some trees down with this line of storms, but no, significant, I guess is the right word. No significant damage besides just some trees coming down. So that's some good news. We've got trees down from southern Iredell County through Lincoln and into Mecklenburg right now. But again, no homes damaged, nothing like that is being reported, just kind of trees blocking roadways. So if that's what we've got so far, that we'll take that, because that was a pretty nasty line that moved through.
Yep. Severe thunderstorm warnings have been extended up into Greensboro at this point. So again, if you're watching us from starting to get into the triad here, it's looking, it's going to be a little rough for a little bit in that neck of the woods. Again, we don't have any active tornado warnings in the Carolinas, but we're going to stick with this for now, because I have a feeling as soon as we sign off, one will pop back up anyway. So we have a new severe thunderstorm warning too.
Yeah, as I said that, in Clover, York County EM reporting a tree on a home in Clover. So
yeah, that's not surprising. I mean, this is a pretty potent line, and again, I'll take it down to the, take it back to the terminal radar in Charlotte, and you can see, I don't know if that's noise near Matthews or what, but I mean, it might be noise. It's hard to say, but and you can see that very sharp wind shift. This is exactly what these radars are for.
Yes.
That's exactly what these are here to do. And it's going to be something that we're going to want to watch closely here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any other reports of widespread damage, so that's good. I've been looking through Twitter too, and I'm not really caught anything. So that's good. Where this line's moving through, especially in North Carolina, if something was going on, you would see it, because it's the most populated part of North Carolina. So
yeah. All right. So let's let me go back to Columbia here real quick, because we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning out. And again, this is along this line here. Another, again, the potential for 70-mile-an-hour winds now in Edgefield County, Edgefield to Saluda to Newberry right now really is the worst of the weather coming through. And again, we're still seeing some evidence that, the rotation occasionally trying to wrap up here near Newberry. Not really seeing that so much more to the south, but again, areas south of this rotation could even see, like right over Silver Street right now. I wouldn't be shocked to see some additional surge of wind there as that blows out. So again, we're going to want to watch this closely for some spin ups along the edge of the line. But right now, the main concern is damaging winds, damaging straight line winds, really across the area. And it seems like we have two segments now. It seems like we have the one segment that's like Greensboro to Charlotte, and then maybe a little bit of a weak break here in Chester County, and then getting back into Newberry, Saluda, and Edgefield and Aiken counties, where it's getting through Augusta right now. The good news is that once this is past you, your severe weather threat is over. So that is always helpful, and good to have it done, so to speak. It's kind of, I'm kind of searching around for any information as well, and I think at this point, we don't, we're evolving into a damaging wind line at this point, I feel like. Yep. So two new severe thunderstorm warnings, Rowan and Union counties. Rowan until 7:30, Union until 8.
Agree. Let's see. It's 6:50. It's about 7 o'clock. You want to go ahead and wrap this portion up, and then if something breaks out, we can.
Yeah, I think we're in a spot to do that again. Again, the greater tornado threat is going to shift. Is going to stay to the in Georgia at this point. I think that's where we still have ongoing tornado warnings. That's where the instability is highest. That's where the parameter space is pretty well set up there. At this point, this is transitioning into more of a damaging wind event for the Carolinas. Now, do you have a good question here about the coast? And again, the expectation is that this is going to weaken as it gets closer to the coast. Again, we're losing daytime heating. We're losing, the surface-based instability, which you need that to help sustain severe thunderstorms in particular like this, especially tornadoes. That is dropping off rapidly. So we should, and the upper levels too, for that matter, are going to eventually weaken here too. So my the expectation is that these will continue to weaken as they get closer to the coast. Could still have some damaging wind gusts inland, but at this point, and certainly some gusty winds. We have some gusts of 20, 23 miles an hour or so in the Charleston area, for example. But this will weaken as it gets closer there. And again, I'm looking at the parameter space a little bit, and definitely maximize now. Panhandle, Florida, Georgia, those areas, I think that's where your severe weather threat in the near term is really starting to shape up. And towards Lawrence County, I want to say that Lawrence County, you are good. There are no warnings up in Lawrence County at this point. So the main line of thunderstorms is moving is solidly into Newberry now. So Newberry, Saluda, Edgefield, down to Augusta right now, you're getting the worst of your weather. And then once that's passed, your severe weather threat ends. So getting there, getting better. And this will continue to improve as time goes on. So what we'll do at this point, and I think Scotty's either having internet problems again, or he's just like, this guy talks too much. But we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead with no tornado warnings in effect right now, staying kind of close, but we're going to go ahead and sign off here. If severe weather, if a tornado warning does get reissued, we'll hop back on that as soon as we can and get a look at that. But again, right now, the threat is straight line winds. And so be ready for that. Severe thunderstorm warning. Still take it seriously. Stay away from windows. Very strong winds. 75-mile-an-hour wind gust at Greenwood. These storms seem to mean business for at least the next little while. So with all that, for Scott, Scotty, I was just signing us off. So for you're good. So any final thoughts before we sign off?
Yeah, I think you covered it before I got kicked off there. Internet's, I'm gonna have to fix that. But I think it's like you said, what's coming more of a damage in line wind threat. So we'll continue to watch this throughout the night, and we can hop back on if need be. But right now we'll just watch it, and hopefully if you find yourself under a severe thunderstorm warning, remember what we saw back in Greenwood, where these storms are producing some damaging winds. So just take those warnings with some seriousness tonight as this squall line kind of pushes through the Carolinas.
Yep, absolutely. So we've got eyes on it, and if we need it, I'll just pop this guy back on, and we'll just pop back over here, and I'll yell at Scotty from Charleston, and we'll get back here. So for Frank and for Frank Strait in Columbia, Scotty Powell, Myrtle Beach, I'm Jared Smith in Charleston, signing off for now on the Carolina Weather Group. Stay tuned, stay safe, and hopefully we don't have to talk to you again real soon, but if we do, we'll be here. Take care.